Good morning and welcome to Unity Spiritual Center Saxe this Memorial Day weekend, May 30, 2021. This weekend when we start to honor those who gave their lives in service of this country. Let's take a deep breath together. Let's breathe life and exhale life, divine life, that energy that is us, that expresses as us, that courses through our veins, that is the divine wisdom, the divine intelligence that fuels our lives, that makes available to us divine ideas which prosper us. So we breathe together now, knowing that we are one love, one energy, one body. We are part and parcel of the same energy that created the heavens and the earth, that gave us dominion over our thoughts, words, and actions, that gave us the beauty of this world, the beauty of community, the beauty of each and every soul, every sentient being. So we relax here, opening mind and soul, opening our hearts to whatever has been specially created for us this day in this experience together. For there are no coincidences. And so all of us present here in this room, all of those who hear my voice, who are watching remotely, we have all been brought together for this special time in which miracles will happen. And so now we raise our voices in song. Feel comfortable to either sit or stand as we sing together with Robin Hackett.
Good morning, everyone. Just a reminder, please silence your cell phones, if you can remember to do that. And let's all sing, I'm Opening Up. I am opening up in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the one. I am opening up in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the one. I am opening, I am opening, I am opening, I am opening, I am opening up in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the one. I am opening up in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the one. I am opening, I am opening, I am opening, I am opening, I am opening up in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the one. I am opening up in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the one. I am opening, I am opening, I am opening, I am
Please be seated. So let's open a little further now. Yes, we open up in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the One, knowing that we are that One, and that there is no separation between Spirit and us. With Spirit represented in the sea, the vast oceans, we know and affirm that we are waves within that ocean. Within us is everything that is in God, that is of God. We are also. We are also. We are not just connected to the One. We are the One. And so we know in those moments when we feel separated, where all we do is see darkness, where we experience chaos, where there is dis-ease, we know and affirm that that is not who we truly are. That outer circumstances do not determine who we are, does not change who we are. We are light and love and peace and humanity and divinity all rolled up into one. All rolled up into one. Luminous, luminous light. And so as we further center ourselves this morning, we're going to have a very special song played so beautifully by Tom and sung by Kate. And so we open our hearts and minds and we let our souls sing as they sing for us. Let yourself drop into that heart space now. Just let yourself drop into that heart space and be carried away further into peace and calm, that luminous love light.
The gentle pool of God is often lost amidst the rush of all the obligations that lay a claim on us. Yet just beyond that frantic pace, our restless feet have trod, lie deep still pools of me in the stillness, Lord. Be the air I breathe. Meet me in the stillness, Lord. Free me to receive. Oh, take me to that sacred place where lost in wonder and in awe, that moment comes and I rejoice to be and be with God. Meet me in the stillness, Lord. Be the air I breathe. Meet me in the stillness, Lord. Free me to receive. Meet me in the stillness, Lord. Be the air I breathe. Meet me in the stillness, Lord. Free me to
Good morning. If you will hold all those sweet little beings of light in your hearts and minds right now, all of those little ones we know, all the ones we don't know around the planet, and let's do our children's blessing together. Children of light, we see you guided and directed by an inward spirit that leads you into the path that is right for you. We see you strong and whole. We see you blessed and prospered. We see you courageous and confident. We see you as the spiritually perfect beings you truly are. Children of light, we bless you.
Good morning. All right, and the word for today is peace. Words do not suffice in describing inner peace based on divinity. True peace is primarily manifested from the inner divine idea of peace. True peace does not depend on outer circumstances. Charles Fillmore wrote, "Divine ideas are potential force waiting to be put into motion by the thinking, feeling faculties of you and I. In the center of my beingness, divine peace, like all divine ideas, awaits me recognizing and claiming it. I claim inner peace by first remembering the divine idea of peace. As I set it into motion, peace grows within me. My feelings are smoothed as order is restored to my thoughts. I am peace inside, regardless of outer circumstances. So if you'll repeat 3 times with me, please. I gracefully establish inner peace now. I gracefully establish inner peace now. I gracefully establish inner peace now. Thank you.
That was kind of a fast turnaround. I'm not used to going so quickly.
I'm gonna live so God can use me anytime, anywhere. I'm gonna live so God can use me anytime, anywhere. I'm gonna pray so God can use me anytime, Lord, anywhere. I'm gonna pray so God can use me anywhere. I'm gonna work so God can use me anytime, Lord, anywhere. I'm gonna work so God can use me anytime, Lord, anywhere. I'm gonna sing so God can use me anytime, anywhere. I'm gonna sing so God can use me anytime or anywhere. I'm gonna live, I'm gonna work, I'm gonna pray, I'm gonna sing so God can use me anytime, Lord, anywhere. I'm gonna live so God can use me anytime or anywhere. Thank you. Thank you.
I think that piano is still doing this. So Lance Corporal Chance Phelps was shot and killed in Iraq in 2004. He had just turned 20 years old. And his journey from Iraq through Germany into Dover, Delaware to the port mortuary is chronicled in a story called Taking Chance, starring Kevin Bacon. And somehow I always end up watching this movie on Memorial Day weekend. It is beautifully painful and painfully beautiful to watch. But what happens in this movie as Chance is brought home, every single person, every single moment of his, what they call in the military, of a dignified transfer, is handled with reverence, with love, with a passion, a knowingness about the depth of the sacrifice that he made, and every single serviceman or woman who dies overseas is brought home the same way. And so this movie just brings out the detail and the sheer numbers of people who are involved in this process. From the people who load the caskets into the plane, who fill them with ice and other cold materials so that the bodies stay the way they're supposed to, the pilots who fly them to each destination, the baggage handlers who have to take care of ushering the body off of the military plane and then onto a commercial flight, the pilots, the commercial pilots, the people at the desk, the airlines, who are taking care of the escorts, because there is an escort for every single serviceman or woman who's brought home like that. Someone accompanies their body from the time it reaches this country all the way to wherever they live, to their families. There's great care taken with every article that they owned at the time they are brought home. So whether it is a cross, pictures, whether it's their dog tags, if they're wearing a watch, whatever it is that they have on them, they painstakingly take care of it, clean it. Some things may have blood on them. They may have, if they were Lance Corporal Chance Phelps was shot and killed, and so there may be tissue and other things on his belongings. And there are people at the port mortuary whose only job is to clean every single article and preserve it for the families. There are people who also painstakingly and with reverence and with love take care of the bodies. There are people who their only job is to sew and to tailor perfectly to each serviceman or woman's body their uniform so they can be laid to rest in it. All they do is sew. All they do is sew. And that's their job. And so in this movie, you see that Lance Corporal Chance Phelps is affecting each and every person who tends to him. Each and every person. All of the people that watch the convoy of the director of the funeral home, whoever is driving the car with the casket, it's draped with a flag, and so if you're driving by, people can see. There are people who would they turn their headlights on so they could be a part of the procession. The escort is following behind in a car. Every single person was affected by chance, and chance was affected by every single person. Their lives were changed through this dignified transfer. There's no way I can watch that movie and not weep. I do every single time, and yet I have to watch it because it reminds me of the individual dedication of these servicemen and women. This ultimate sacrifice, this depth of their sacrifice. And so the escort in this movie, the gentleman whose diary is the basis for this movie, is Lieutenant Colonel Mike Strobel. And you can see how he is affected through this whole thing. He is a numbers cruncher. He did serve in Desert Storm. And then he decides over the years that the way he's going to continue to serve is to be a numbers cruncher. And he's actually one of the people who determines how many troops need to go back to whatever area of conflict based upon the number of people who have died. And so he sees in the report he gets every day of a list of the dead. He sees the name of Chance Phelps and realizes that Chance is from his hometown. And something moves him to say, I want to escort his body. And it's very unusual for somebody of his rank to escort the body of a lance corporal. But he says, he insists that this is something I want to do. So his commanding officer says, absolutely yes, you may do that. And he is changed by this experience. So it's interesting to me how not only in life, but sometimes in death, we have the opportunity to affect people's lives. That there is no small thing. One of the things that moved Lieutenant Colonel Strobel was that as he was on the flight from Delaware to Wyoming, one of the flight attendants who knew that he was an escort, because everybody knows, they pass the word, they let you know who the escort is, and they purposely moved him up to first class because they realized he's doing special duty. And one of the flight attendants gave him a cross. And he ends up giving it to the family. He thought at first she was giving it to him. But then when he finally meets the family in Wyoming, he gives it to the parents. And he tells them, at first I thought this was for me, but I really think this is for you. This was her gift to you. She was moved. Someone who's just serving coffee, helping people get comfortable, doing all the flight instructions. She affected not only Mike Strobel, but the parents, some people she doesn't even know, because she was moved by Chance Phelps in his life. Chance's commanding officer describes him as being as fierce in battle as he was gentle in friendship. That he had a ready smile. His sergeant said the same of him. And I will miss him and miss his smile forever. And I'll never, never forget him. Never forget him. Because he was everybody's friend. In the best sense of the word friend. That's the impact we can have on people. Imagine that, to be as fierce in battle as you are gentle in friendship. So that's Lance Corporal Chance Phelps. I became acquainted with someone else this week through a podcast. And this gentleman's name is William Elmore. And he grew up in my hometown where I was born in Newark, New Jersey. And in his early 20s, actually he was 19 at the time, he became involved in a drug deal gone wrong, and someone was killed. And he was an entrepreneur at heart. He loved business. He saw a beauty and an art to being a salesman and to be able to have a product, buy it at wholesale, and then sell it to someone else for retail. He loved that. He loved figuring that out. And then when his parents divorced and he became the man of the house as a teenager, he realized that the business he had selling fireworks and having a paper route and things like that weren't going to cut it. He needed to bring in more money. And then he ended up hanging out with some folks who were selling drugs, and he started doing that. And then he got involved in this one incident that landed him with a sentence for the rest of his natural life in prison at the age of 19. At the age of 19. He had never before been in trouble. He'd never been arrested before. He had tried to hide his criminal activity from his family because they would not have gone for this. They would not have understood. And he said he was so embarrassed about that the whole time, but really didn't see any other way at the time, in his mind, to do any different. William Elmore decided that first week when he was transferred to maximum security that he did not want to live. And he told his mother when his first visit, the week after he was imprisoned, that he was going to find a way to die. And she said, "This isn't over. And as long as I fight for you, I want you to fight for yourself." Well, William Elmore then decides that he's got to find a way to live. And through his own introspection, is taking a hard look at himself in his life, because now that he's locked up, there is no way to hide from who he is and what he's done. No way to hide. He said he had all kinds of judgments about everyone else who was in prison. He said he despised them all. And yet, he realized that there were parts of himself, that he saw in each of these men. And he said, "How can I despise them when I see myself in them? I must despise that part of me." And so he started to heal that. And the way he sought to heal that was to start to serve the men that he was also in prison with, to find out, what do you need and how can I help you? How can I inspire you to serve your time better? How can I be here for you? Most of them with far less time to serve than he did. Because according to his original sentence, he was never getting out of prison. He was going to have to die in prison. And most of them probably had 5 years, 7 years, 10 years, 20 years. He was 20. He could have been in prison for 60, 70 years. And so through this time in prison, he also decided that I'm not a prisoner. I may be in prison, but I am not a prisoner. I will not subjugate myself to prison culture. And so when he saw the guards, he would ask them, "What did you do this weekend? I want to know what you did. Tell me about your weekend. Because I want to keep the outside world alive in my mind. What's going on in the world? Tell me about that." A lot of guards resented it and didn't want to talk to him in the beginning. He started to insist that the clothes that he got, the clean clothes, that if they weren't really clean, he said, "I'm not going to take stained underwear." Imagine that. "I'm not going to take stained underwear because I don't do that." And in the beginning, they laughed at him. And they said, "Who are you to not take what we give you?" And he would say, "I'm not a prisoner. I deserve better, so unless you can get me a clean pair, I'll keep what I have." And over time, they changed. And when he came to get clean clothes, they would look at him and say, "Nope, we can't give him that because that's got a rip in it. He doesn't wear torn clothes." Nope, sorry, those underwear aren't clean enough. Give him clean underwear. Because that's the kind of man. People were coming to him. Other prisoners are starting to come to him and say, thank you for lifting me up, because you carry yourself differently than the other men in this prison. You are an icon for me. He was changing people's lives. Changing people's lives. And in that time, he found a freedom and a peace that he never had before and knew nothing of. He knew nothing of. He said, what prison taught me is how to really, really live. He said, I thought before I was locked up, that living meant you get up in the morning, you have breakfast, you go to work, you do whatever it is you do through the day, you go through those paces, you spend time with your girlfriend, you spend time with your family, and then you go to bed and you get up and you do it again. He said, what I learned here in prison is that life is knowing who you are and finding freedom in whatever circumstances you have. He felt free in prison, never knowing when he was getting out, never knowing when he was getting out. He ended up finding a program and only ended up serving 24 and a half years only, but in comparison to 50, 60. He ended up getting out in 24 years and 6 months. And he is now the program coordinator for an organization that helps men transition from prison to everyday life, to living on the outside. William Elmore has touched hundreds and hundreds of lives by his beingness. That peace that he found, that Pete read for us. There is no small thing. Here, men from completely different backgrounds, on different ends of the country, affected lives of people they never knew by how they lived, and in Chance Phelps' instance, also in his death. You know, when I thought of these two men in the last couple of days, I wondered, what do they have to do with each other? How does this fit together? And what I came up with is that each of us is brought here for some reason. Some reason. And we never know the depth of our influence on other people's lives. That even in what you think are your worst circumstances, you may be an inspiration to someone else. By your attitude, how you carry yourself, how you care for other people, a small gesture, by what you say, what you do, how you live, the job you have. Sewing garments might seem insignificant to the families of those servicemen and women. It was no small thing to see their loved ones in a finely immaculate, crisp, beautiful uniform. And in Chance Phelps' instance, it was a closed casket because there had been too much damage to his family. But to the people who prepared his uniform, it didn't matter that no one was going to see it. One of the moments that just takes my heart, takes my breath away during this movie, is when Mike Strobel asked to see Chance Phelps one last time. He asked them to open the casket. He said, I just have to make sure because that's my job. And the funeral director says, you know it's a closed casket. He said, yeah, I know, but I just have to do my job, my last thing for Lance Corporal Chance Phelps. And so he opens the casket, and he's standing there watching, and you could see him looking at every single detail from his head to his toes, and the tears well up in his eyes. And you can see the white gloves are just stark white, and his hands are like this. And that cross that was given to the family is there. All those people who prepared all of those things, the watch that was encrusted with blood, he's wearing now. And it's immaculate and gleaming and shining. Somebody just cleaning a watch. There are no small things, friends. There are no small things. They may seem insignificant in the moment, but they're not. They're not. I want you to know that just by how you show up, you could be somebody's angel. Somebody's angel. A moment for them that will forever change their lives. Something that helps them stand a little taller, feel more loved, feel a little bit more special. Remember who they truly are. Whether by your living or after you've passed. It's an amazing thing, isn't it? So when we talk about oneness, when we talk about us being interconnected, that's the kind of power we have with this connectedness. That's the kind of power we have to positively influence others. And I believe that our divinity inspires us to do those things with love and reverence and care. That's our divinity expressed in the world in small ways. Small is just it's not a good word for this experience. Because there is no big or small. It all matters. It all matters. Each of you matter. Lance Corporal Chance Phelps matters still, and he died in 2004. I carry him now. I carry him. I carry Lieutenant Colonel Mike Strobel. I carry William Elmore. People I never knew. Know that you matter. Know that you are important. Know that you have a hand in the goodness of others, in the inspiration and encouragement of others, in the comfort and love of others. And in your darkest moments, know that there are others here for you as well. That you are never alone. That there is never a moment so dark that there isn't somebody else who's shining light for you. For you. There's always light. Let's take this into meditation. Let's breathe deeply. Breathing in love and light. Breathing in love and light. And knowing in this moment that there is always love and always light. Know that despite the storms of life, despite the rain, the emotional rain that we feel sometimes, that just above the clouds, the sun still shines. That sun is always shining. That same light represents the light that is God, that expresses as each of us you're always light. Always light. Regardless of circumstances. Regardless of pain you may feel physically, emotionally, mentally, there is always light. There is always peace and comfort. Regardless of lack and limitation, there is always prosperity. There is always divine intelligence, divine wisdom, with ready divine ideas for any challenge you may experience. And as you experience dis-ease of any kind, there is always vibrancy and vitality. And yes, it awaits us. We have only to flip the switch, to tune in, to breathe it in, to call it in, to declare it in our mind, our body, our spirit, our hearts. Claim it and make it so. Say it aloud. Say it aloud. Peace abounds at all times. An infinite source that is the sea, and we, as the waves, bring it into our lives, express it for ourselves and for each other. For ourselves and for each other. For ourselves and for each other. Yes, we are mighty and deeply rooted, with plenty of shade to cover all those in need, including ourselves. Mighty and deeply rooted. mighty and deeply rooted in peace, love, joy, harmony, abundance, vitality. And so it is, and so it shall be. Amen. So in this moment of peace and unity, we now speak the names of those for whom we want to pray.
Jan, for her upcoming procedure. Deborah, to smooth out her day. John and Joseph, Vicky Sue.
For Cheryl, for Joan and Debbie. For Danielle and Tony. For me. For Lola and family. PJ and family. Melinda and family.
For my brothers and sisters and their extended families.
For all of these beloved souls, and for all those who may not have been named in this moment, but who are in our hearts and our minds throughout our days. We know that there is light always. And we know that divine wisdom is at work in their lives, always. And so we now claim the highest and best for them, whatever it is. For in this life of infinite goodness, there is an intelligence that knows our deepest desires. And so it is, and so it shall be. And so, we know that Spirit is our source of all goodness in our lives. And now we recite together our celebration of giving. Together, divine love as me blesses and multiplies all the good that I am and have, all the gift that I give and receive. And so it is.
In this world there's a whole lot of trouble. In this world there's a whole lot of pain. In this world there's a whole lot of trouble, but a whole lot of ground to gain. Why take when you could be giving? Why watch as the world goes by? It's a long enough life to be living. Why walk when you can fly? In this world there's a whole lot of sorrow. In this world there's a whole lot of shame. In this world there's a whole lot of sorrow, but a whole lot of ground to gain. Why take when you should be giving? Why watch as the world goes by? It's a long enough life to be living. Why walk when you can fly? In this world there's a whole lot of cold. In this world there's a whole lot of pain. In this world you've a soul for a compass and a heart for a pair of wings. There's a star on the of the time that you're giving. Why walk when you can fly?
That's it, darling.
Thank you.
Let's give thanks for our offering. We are deeply, deeply grateful for all the time, treasure, and talent that overflows into this community, helping it to continue to grow and thrive so that we can do the work that we are called to do every single day, not just within these walls, but around the world as well. Amen. Amen. So just a few things. With the relaxation of COVID restrictions, we've now relaxed the restrictions here. So after the board has consulted and talked and made some decisions, we decided if you are vaccinated, that masks are optional. And if you're not vaccinated, we ask that you please wear a mask. Again, we're not going to check at all. We just ask you to police this yourselves, and we appreciate it. If you are not feeling well, we do ask you to please stay home still. Sanitizer will still be available, and again, yes, please watch remotely if you're not feeling well. We will continue to broadcast our service through Facebook and our website, the entire service, so you can have that available to you whether you're home or here. So we're going to see Chicago in concert, so join us on Saturday, June 26th. So everybody get your BYOT, buy your own tickets on Ticketmaster, but please let us know if you're going to go, because some of us are going to meet here and drive down together. So we do have a text number, 618-YES-USCS. You can text us there, and please let us know if you're coming and who else, the number of people coming with you, or you can email me, and that's my email address. But please RSVP for that. We are having an end-of-life planning seminar given by Wrestling Funeral Home. And this is just educational. They're not here to sell plots and all that other stuff, so don't worry about that. It's really about spending time, how to go through this process of making decisions about how you want people to take care of you when your time has come. How do you want your service planned? Whatever else you want to happen, music, where do you want to have a service if you want to have a service? It's all important things to do, but Wrestling is going to come and do a 45-minute seminar on how to do these things and how to do it with love and be able to have some confidence about it. So that's Sunday, June 27 at 12:30 p.m. And in person, we're going to do it by Zoom also, so if you're not able to be here in the room with us, you can still be a part of the event.
And they're serving lunch, so we need people to sign up if they're going to be here.
Thank you.
Because we need to give them a head count.
Yes, so they're having lunch. In case you didn't hear that online, they are serving lunch, so if we don't need a head count for you, but we're just letting everybody else know. So we do need to know if you're coming, because they're serving food, or you won't get to eat. Are you going to do a testimony? Got it.
Well, my dad was one of the most thoughtful, kindest persons I've ever known, but he had no end-of-life plan. He used to say, in fact, when I'm dead, my body will be there, but I'm not going to be in it. So my survivors can do whatever they want to do. And I think by that he thought he was doing us a favor. He thought he wouldn't be holding us to any restrictions of his thoughts, and we could do whatever we wanted. But nothing could be farther from the truth. In fact, when that time came and we were just devastated by the fact that he would no longer physically be here as a part of our lives, we not only had to deal with that, but we had to deal with all the details of what happens when you make that transition. 11 years later, the same thing happened with my mother. And 9 years later, the same thing happened when my brother died in a plane crash. None of them had an end-of-life plan, and it was devastating for those of us who were left to make those decisions at such a hard time in our lives. Now, conversely, somewhere probably between my dad and my mom's death, I decided I did not want to cause that to happen to my family. So I worked with a professional to make a plan for my end of life. And I can't tell you the feeling of relief that it brought to me to know that I had made those decisions myself. Not only that what I wanted to happen was already planned out to happen, but just knowing that my loved ones were not going to have to face those details. So I want to encourage you to be a part of this seminar that Kim has just announced. Work with a professional to get some guidance for how to create your own end-of-life plan if you haven't already done so. It is well worth the time and effort.
Did you want to add anything, Fred?
No.
Okay. Sorry, I stole your thunder. So, we've been wanting to do this.
So I'm a social worker in a hospital and can offer a lot of insight and things that are important to do in that time, even if the person's in the hospital.
Oh, nice.
So if, like advance directives, financial power of attorneys, because all that stuff is good while you're still alive. I'll have people come in and be hospitalized for an extended period of time. And the family, if that person doesn't have family on their accounts, they can't pay their bills because there's no financial power of attorney because the banks won't honor anything else. So, and then medical power of attorney, if you have a significant other or adult children, by law, they're automatically a decision maker. And if you don't want them to be your medical decision maker, or you have a large family, then it's the majority of. And if you want to exclude family, then you need to do a medical power of attorney. So,
We'll talk some more. Maybe we can work something out so we get more information to people. That's great. Thank you, Monica. House concerts. For a very long time, way before the pandemic, one of the things the board wanted to do was to be able to have concerts here in-house. And then the pandemic hit and everything just had to be shelved. So we have some of the best talent that come here and just lend some beauty to our services. And so we want to be able to have an experience, and we all love being together, we all love music, and so we decided that we wanted to have concerts on a regular basis. So we are going to create a community coffee house concerts here at this center, starting on the second Saturdays. July 10 will be our first one, and our own Robin Hackett is our first musical artist who will be blowing the doors off of this place. So we'll give you more information as time goes on, so you know how it's going to happen, what time, and all that other stuff. We just want to announce it so you can put it on your calendars. So Saturday, July 10 in the evening, and then every second Saturday after that. We have people who know other great musicians in the area. They're going to be coming here, and we're all going to have a great time together. We'll have food and music and conversation and just have a great time being together. So mark off second Saturdays in the evening on your calendars now. You're not going to want to miss them. And then the next day, July 11, we're coming up on our anniversary again. So it's 32 years this July that this center was first opened. And so at 12:30 after service, we're going to have our first potluck again and have some festivities to celebrate. Yeah. We get so excited by food. We really do. Fun and fellowship again. So we're going to be together for this, and anybody who's interested in helping to plan those festivities, please let Cece know, and or you can get to Fred or anybody else on the board, and they'll get you to the right person. But we're going to celebrate our anniversary, and that'll be our first potluck since the pandemic started. So let's have our mission and vision, please, Sir Mike.
Thank you all for your love and light. Please repeat after me our vision and mission. We are a Unity Center Saxe. We are a thriving global community of spiritual seekers transforming lives through love and the expression of our innately divine gifts. Our mission is to inspire spiritual and personal growth through the teachings and demonstrations of the unity principles towards the realization of living our best lives. Divine wisdom is our work in every area of our life right now. Everything is always working out for us. Thank you.
And if you'd like to stand, you can. God is my source. God is my power. God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything I need. Peace. Peace is my source. Peace is my power. Peace gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. Peace gives me everything I need. Joy. Joy is my source. Oh, joy is my power. Joy gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. Joy gives me everything I need. Love. Love is my source. Love is my power. Love gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. Love gives me everything I need. God. God is my source. God is my power. God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything I need. God gives me everything I need. Yeah. God gives me everything I need. Happy Sunday.
Thank you for sharing your love and light with us this Sunday morning. Remember that whether you're watching remotely or here in the room, it's your love and light that makes this place a beautiful place to be on Sunday mornings. Have a glorious day and a glorious week. Namaste.